Well, happy Friday, Delaware. We made it.
We made it. It is Friday, then. You are confirming to me it's Friday.
It's Friday. It was one of those weeks where I was like, wow, this Monday has been a long Tuesday. You know, like where
I
it
woke
just,
up on
where am
Wednesday
I?
and looked at my husband and I was like, it's Friday, right? Like I was ready to come here to the radio. You almost got me, Mark, on Wednesday morning.
Wednesday.
That'd been
because
fun. I wish you had.
I was I must have been dreaming.
Right.
And I thought it was Friday.
Yeah.
So.
Well, that's better than the dream, like when your teeth fall out or you have to go to the bathroom or, you know.
wake up and you didn't go to class
all semester. How does that
Wow.
happen? How is that such a common dream?
I've got both the high school and the college version where I don't even know where the room is.
Yes.
And I'm going to try to fake it.
But you're going to take the test.
And I'm still convinced I can get through this and nobody will notice.
That is.
I think that was my reality in college.
Exactly.
It wasn't just a dream.
The voice you hear there is Holly Hanson, owner and managing partner of Drama Kids of North Columbus. Welcome, Holly. We're
Thank
so
you
happy
so
to
much for
have
having
you. Holly is joining us. We're going to have a lot of fun this show. We're going to talk about Drama Kids and some of the work that they've been doing with some of our Drama Kids this summer at the Delaware County District Library. But before we do that, we're going to talk about books.
I love books.
What do you have for us this week, Molly?
Okay, I have a nonfiction book. I normally don't talk about like the management books I'm reading because, you know, if you're not managing, it's not as exciting. Yeah, they can be kind of dry. But I got this one and it just brought me life. It is called Unreasonable Hospitality by Will Guidara. This is not just for managers. This is a nonfiction book, and it is Will Guidara talking about his, journey to opening one of the best. They won the best restaurant in America.
Ooh.
And it is about his view. So normally restaurants don't win they win for their food. They don't win for their service. Mm-hmm. Will decided he wanted to sort of change that.
Yeah.
And the way they approached making a restaurant a magical place. And what I loved about this is he also talked about when they got carried away with it and it would start losing its magic, or it was unable to keep this up in their pursuit to be the best. Mm-hmm. But his drive just makes your heart, as somebody who works in customer service and has for my entire career, the excitement of making somebody's day, the excitement of just taking that extra step that doesn't always hurt you, or looking for that small way you can solve somebody's, problem that they didn't even know was a problem, or they didn't know anybody could solve. Like he talked about he had this group that came in and they had been going all around New York and they'd hit everything they wanted except for they hadn't gotten a New York hot dog yet. Oh. So here they are in this 5-star amazing restaurant and the waiter comes out. He's run outside, gone to the best hot dog cart he knows, bought a hot dog, cut it up for each one of them so they could leave saying they had their New York hot dog.
Right.
Like it was those little ideas. If somebody was flying, they would have little kits they kept behind the desk with homemade treats in it. So when they're like, oh, we're getting ready to head home now, and they've got their luggage stored, they'd give them a little treat bag to take with them as they went on. It's these clever little touches that I'm like, that just makes your day magical, and in libraries, we can do that. I love it when somebody comes in and goes, where's the blue book? And you're like, can you tell me more?
Give me
it was blue
one more clue.
And in picture books. By the way, everybody, that is The Pigeon by Mo Williams. It is one of the Pigeon books. It was always a pigeon book for me. Mm-hmm. But sometimes when you can delight somebody in what you're doing, when you love your job so much that you learn things and you look for how people respond. So this book gave me life at a time when we hear how everything goes wrong for people everywhere they go. This was a book about trying to do everything to make people's lives magical.
Yeah.
Unreasonable Hospitality. The subtitle is The Remarkable Power of Giving People More Than They Expect by Will Guidara.
That sounds like a really good read.
It was.
Yeah.
This is a great summer read if you want management, but management through inspiration.
Management light.
He's not telling me how to make delight in a library. There's no details that are library specific.
You don't have homework. You don't have to go make your block, or...
This would be, I cannot believe I'm saying it, this would be a really uplifting, fun beach read. Sitting on the
she
beach.
said it.
I said it.
She
I
did
said
it.
it. Take this
We all need
nonfiction. This is a fun, nonfiction, and he talks about a struggle during COVID too.
Yeah.
So he brings in the realities of how do you bring delight when you're just trying to keep your staff paid
Right.
and your doors open.
Yeah.
Everybody needs to read this book.
Well, that's a great review. Thank you, Molly.
You're welcome.
All right, Holly, you've said you've got a couple options. So which one did you end up going with?
I went with just a lighthearted romance for the summer
Love
called
it.
Just for the Summer by Abby Jimenez.
Oh, yes.
I'm typically a mystery kind of girl. I like, those serial killer murder mysteries.
Yes, when they drop a body.
Exactly. But I wanted to go completely opposite for the summer. I needed
Good.
something to clean my mind.
I'm
of-
glad there's no
of
murder in
all
this.
That. And, yes, no murder. No murder at all. I did not have to dread the next chapter. or
Right.
anything. But this was so fun and so magical, and highly recommend it because it's just a page turner.
Yeah.
It's an easy read.
Yeah.
Everything is positive. The characters are very well constructed and just in depth. You get to really know every character deep down, and I really like that.
Yeah.
The characterization.
You said it's a romance? That's right?
It is a romance. It's based on this idea, which is super cool. Each of these characters that come together ultimately they were so-called cursed by every time they had a relationship and they broke it off, their exes found their soulmates.
Oh, no.
Oh.
How rude.
Yes.
Oh.
How rude.
That is
Yes.
heartbreaking.
So ultimately, they
Mark
found.
likes it.
I know. It makes great radio. Some call-in shows.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. So ultimately, they find each other, and of course, the whole thing is let's pretend like we like each other. So when we break up,
Yeah, maybe
we
it's
will
us
find
next.
our soulmates.
Oh,
So
cute.
that's the whole idea of the whole thing. But of course, ultimately, I'm not going to spoil it.
I
but,
love
I
that.
love that.
it's very happy, and it's a charming story. And
Yeah.
I highly recommend it.
That is a
Yeah.
hot book right now. Somewhat newly released, I think. It's
It
on a lot of
keeps
the
showing
charts.
up on my Goodreads. All
Yeah.
my friends are reading this
Yes.
right
and
now.
Of course, it's at home. I need to return it to the library. So
Oh,
somebody
that's
else
okay.
can read it.
That's okay. We'll forgive you. Find forgiveness. That's what we do here at the
Yes.
library. Awesome. That was just for the summer. I actually every once in a while. Ooh, we're getting like feedback
getting
because
some
Mark's
nice.
playing with us on,
I like
on
this.
Facebook. I was like, wait a second. Every once in a while, I like to play with a service or talk about a service that we have at the Delaware County District Library. And this week, I'm going to talk about our Maker Studio.
They are going to love what you're going to tell them. I feel like I know, and I'm just going to build you up a little bit because this is so cool.
Well, it's very exciting. I know that our Maker Studio has lots of wonderful things in it. It is located at our Delaware Library and our Liberty Library. There are different pieces of equipment at either of them. And what it's really good for is if you want to do a little personalization of something, if you want to do a little specialized gift, or if you're maybe experimenting with starting your own business and you want to see how does this Cricut machine, or it's spelled CRICUT, how does this Cry-Cut machine,
I always called it Cry-Cut.
actually work?
I did too.
I think Cricut is the
I
like
think
the bug.
you are right. I have learned this soon, but
Yeah, how does this thing actually work? So what I did is I am preparing for Willow's birthday party tonight. My youngest is turning 7.
I am so excited for her.
And we are having a little spa night sleepover. And each girl who's coming is
So
going to
cute.
get their own little sleep mask and their own little robe and their own little bag to put all of their goodies in.
I'm so jealous that we weren't invited to
I
this party.
know.
To the
Hey,
spa
when are
night
you doing the one
sleepover.
for us?
We're going to have a grown-up one next weekend.
Okay.
How's that sound?
Okay.
I don't know if we'll fit in those little air mattresses.
Nope,
I know.
nope. Well, it'll be a sleep under where you get to come over and have all the fun and then go home to your own bed.
Okay. Okay.
So I went to the Maker Studio. I went online. I reserved my spot. That's highly recommended. DelawareLibrary.org/Maker Studio. I reserved my spot and on the Cricut machine, and then I got the heat press all heated
Yes.
up. And all of the staff in the studio helped me. Kellen was there. Alexis was there. You'll also meet Tom and Aaron at some point, too.
They are all magical beings
all
who
magical
know how to
beings.
make things happen.
And they got me, I already knew what I wanted. I wanted each little girl's name, and I already had some Barbie-looking like icons that I had, and they helped me get them loaded into the computer, loaded into the Cricut program, connected with the actual machine, all cut out, and then helped me test the heat press so that I could make sure that whenever I pressed it onto the bag, it didn't accidentally melt the bag.
Yes.
That can happen too.
And that could be traumatic for a little one.
So that's another word to the wise. Always bring extra material if you're working with materials. If you're working, don't just assume that on your first time you're going to get it perfect. Assume there is room for exploration.
Makers is not that you're perfect at it. Makers is that you're learning to do these things.
Yeah, exactly.
And you're getting new skills and somebody's there to help you, but things go wrong.
Yeah, and sometimes, things that you bought for, a set of 5 for $25 on Amazon, might not be the finest quality. So a 330-degree heat press might turn it into a melted bag, but a 290-degree heat press might be just the ticket. I'm not saying I knew that from experience.
It's like the time when I was a kid, I confused baking powder and baking normal flour. And we put the wrong amounts in with a friend.
I bet that
happens.
turned out well. Yeah.
Naomi Gill and I ate them.
Salt and sugar, confusing salt and sugar, all of those things.
We did.
Experimentation. Yeah, but that's our maker studio. So it really can help with little things like that. While I was in there, I saw so many people who were on their creative journeys too. There was a mother who was printing a different version of the graduation banners that we've been printing in there. Instead of one graduation banner that said, congrats grad, class of 2025, she was actually printing out each school photo of her daughter in like a 24 by 36 vinyl from kindergarten through 12th grade.
Wow.
And I was like, what are you going to do with all those? And she was like, I'm going to put them on stakes and on the driveway. And so as people drive up our driveway, they're going to see her journey of pictures and she's going to hate it.
Oh my gosh, I am getting ideas.
I was like, that is amazing. So I just love to see the creativity that happens in our maker studio. And there was another person who was helping his wife work on her business. They were embroidering her logo on a shirt. So it's just lots of things that can happen. So, stop by, give it a tour, see what it's all about. And then when you're ready for your project, just go ahead and reserve your space.
Love it.
It's so
I've
much
never been to the maker studio, and I always wondered, do you have that equipment or the materials there, or what do you have to bring?
It's a little bit of both. So if you have something that you yourself have purchased, you can bring that in and you can use it yourself. There are some things that we already have on site. Some tumblers, some ceramic mugs, different things like that. But generally, if you already have your vision and you already have your blue T-shirt that you need your Drama Kids logo on, you can bring in your blue T-shirt. You can cut the logo out of our material that works well with the Cricut, and then you can heat press it all together.
And it's only at cost, so we don't charge you any more than what the materials
you take away from us.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So we keep it pretty darn cheap.
Yeah, that's awesome.
It is awesome.
Yeah.
All right. Well, with that, we're going to wish a happy birthday to Willow. And on the other side, we'll be back with Holly Hanson from Drama Kids of North Columbus. Stay tuned.
Back to Off the Shelf on My 96.7.
We are back, and we're happy that you're listening with us this morning because we have a fun second half of our show for you with Holly Hanson, the owner and managing partner of Drama Kids of North Columbus. Welcome, Holly.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
We got to play a little bit earlier this year with Leadership 2.0, talking about arts and culture, and we put the adults really through the ringer, didn't we?
We did. Adults love to play improv games.
Oh,
I bet they do. I bet they really do.
When I was a trainer, I learned that by the groans that I would hear every time. I'm like, okay, we're gonna... Okay.
But you know what? Shout out to Holly Quinn and her Leadership 2.0 class because they really were good spirits about it.
They were great. I was surprised how they just became their characters.
They
really went with it, and they all really super enjoyed it. Most of the time, kids are a lot easier to coax into performing in front of people, amazingly. But and adults have already learned how scary it is to be in front of an audience. So, yeah.
But when you
We
put
don't,
somebody
yeah.
like you in front of them, you make, people who know what they're doing make it safe. And
Right.
then when you're out there and you realize it's okay, you can get into this.
Correct. And I'm hoping by allowing the kids in our community this opportunity to learn about improv early in life,
Right.
that these life skills will continue, and they'll continue to foster them as they grow older.
Exactly. That's one of the things that we do at the Delaware County District Library and Summer
Yes.
Reading Club is we have these little opportunities to kind of plant a seed, give a taste, have your kid experience something new in a free, welcoming,
Yes.
non-judgmental environment. And so, Holly, you've already had one time that Drama Kids has joined us at the Delaware Library earlier this summer. You're coming back to the Orange Branch on July 2nd, so just next week at 5:30, and the Liberty Branch on July 24th at 5:30. What happens whenever we're doing Shine in the Spotlight with Drama Kids? What's
Okay,
that
great.
about?
Yes. Your kids will experience a typical Drama Kids class, just kind of with a more of a superstar shines in
I
the
love
spotlight
it.
theme.
Yeah.
So we will concentrate on becoming your famous or your favorite musical star,
Oh,
or
yes.
maybe your favorite sports star, or any kind of star
I could
that
be
you wanna
Cindy
be.
Lauper.
You
can
could.
definitely
I could be Cindy
I would
Lauper.
love to see you as Cindy Lauper.
You need the tutu.
I need
And
the
and
tutu.
the long
And maybe the
dresses.
pink hair.
Yeah,
As a
yeah.
kid, I had all of that.
Yeah, so they transform a little bit.
They transform through activities, so we guide them through an intro activity where they become a character. We do some speech lines where they'll learn how to project their voice,
Yeah.
make eye contact with the instructor, articulate their words.
Right.
We do some movement on stage, or what we call on stage, which is just the area in front of everybody
right.
in the room.
Yeah.
Where they become a character through their body language or their facial expressions. So kids learn that they don't have to tell a story with words,
Right.
which is really difficult for a lot of kids to understand, that their body language tells so much. And various activities like that, just with a theme about being your favorite superstar.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
And so when kids actually, this will be an experience to get kids a little bit familiar with, what a drama camp might look like, what a drama class might look like. Is this the type of thing you said you do at Drama Kids, and where is your location?
It's exactly what we do in Drama Kids. We do summer camps. We're full into summer camp
Mode
right now, which is the superstar theme. So the kids in that camp do a music video and
my.
all sorts of fun things like that. They become a band. We do lots of improv in our camps, in our weekly classes that we have in schools and in all the community rec centers around Central Ohio.
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah.
I was going to say, you can register for programs through a lot of like the city rec sites. Is that
Correct.
right? Yeah.
Correct. We have a lot of evening classes beginning in the fall, from Gahanna, Hilliard, all the way from, we've done them in Obetz before, Upper Arlington, all the way up to Delaware City. So
That's
we're
awesome.
all over the community.
Yeah. Molly, I know this will trip your trigger because
Yes.
you love the things that improv teaches young
Yes.
people.
Oh, I do. I was sitting here thinking about this was my jam as a kid. If somebody had some sort of improv or acting, I loved doing it. I actually went to a summer camp where we learned, it was a church camp, so you could either do sermons, you could do improv, you could do
And
storytelling.
you remember that from being a kid.
That camp was so developing for who I became, because that courage to stand on stage and improv. I think about that all the time. When I teach customer service, which I've done a lot of that around Ohio in libraries, one of my big things is to talk about yes and.
Yes.
And for a kid to learn to go with something and to build on something and not be scared is just, it's what puts us in leadership positions.
It's magical.
It's
it goes back to your
magical.
magical book.
And it is. That's what he's doing. He's improving every day with wishes and dreams. How do you help? Because it is a scary thing that first time you step on stage. I remember my first stage fright. How do you help kids overcome that? Because, you're changing them into leaders at that moment.
Correct. And we're changing them into wonderful little human beings that are able to have conversations with other wonderful human beings without being scared. And that's a skill that I think we're losing a lot of with our younger kids due to various devices that our kids are holding on to. That ability to have a one-on-one conversation and to keep it going,
Right.
Yeah.
which is kind of difficult for a lot of people. We do things like scene starters where we will pair up some kids and then give them each some lines, and then they have to create the rest of the story. And a lot of that time when they get up on stage, whatever they've prepared goes out the door because it's all just pure improv when they stand up in front of everybody.
And that's such a skill because you have to learn to go with it. And I mean, even my 10-year-old, that's something that we're trying to teach her right now is just to go with it. Like if you thought it was going this direction and then I take it this direction, that's life. So how are we going to go with it?
Correct. And we always urge them to say the first thing that comes to their mind. Don't think about it.
Yep.
And you can see sometimes there's a pause and there's like a hiccup. And then once it clicks, then they understand, oh, I could just let my ideas flow.
Yeah.
It's pretty exciting.
I think we also get to see their humor. Kids.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Like it can
silly.
become so silly and funny when it becomes safe to be silly and funny like that.
Yes.
And,
Silly
that's what
and
I love
loud
watching.
and hysterical.
Let the wild ones be wild.
Yeah.
Yes.
I used to, with my nieces and nephews, when you'd get the complaint in the car, like, oh, I'm so hungry and we're on our way to Chipotle. When are we getting to Chipotle? And I would just start being like, well, I hate to tell you kids, but we're driving to Alaska because I want fresh Chipotle. We trap our Chipotles here. And like these stories are still told because they started jumping in and playing with me. And so the Chipotle, did it have wings? Did it have legs?
Oh, that's awesome.
And
I love that.
to create that, it makes those memories. It allows silliness. But they also learned about, I hope that there are fresh fish and there are fish that aren't,
Yes.
that came from
educational
somewhere.
improv there.
I learned that
There was a
fish
phase where they're like,
situation.
Aunt Molly, are you just a liar? And I was like, no, I'm a storyteller.
That's right. No.
No.
All right. Well, this has been Holly Hanson with Drama Kids of North Columbus. Again, Drama Kids is going to have Shine in the Spotlight this Wednesday, July 2nd at 5:30. I just looked. The event is full, but you can join the wait list. So join the wait list. Show up to Orange. See if there's room. There's always no shows. Also, like if you do register for something and you can't make it, please cancel.
Please.
But then the next one after that will be July 24th at the Liberty Branch Library. Do we have time for like a 30-second like scene starter?
I can ask you some improv questions.
Oh,
real quick.
okay, yeah, let's do that.
Okay.
Here we go.
I want to know. Let's go with Molly first.
Okay.
Become your favorite childhood book character.
My favorite childhood. So, can I have a peppermint? I'd really like to have just one of these peppermints. I know they're numbered, and I know I'm not supposed to have any, but just the one?
I don't know who that is.
It's a little girl from a book called Peppermints in the Parlor.
Oh my gosh.
Who ended up going to live with her aunt and uncle after her
love
parents
that.
died. And
cute.
It was now a retirement facility. Her uncle was missing and her aunt was different. And the ladies running it counted the peppermints in the parlor.
This is so on brand for you.
Do you have
It
time
was
for yours?
so
Yes,
good.
yes.
We have
let's do it.
time.
Let's do
okay.
it.
Become your favorite book villain.
Oh.
Okay.
Picking one.
Okay. Oh, but I can't. Okay. You have to get into the chokey. Do we know who this is? The chokey?
Choking.
Okay.
No.
It's the Trunchbull from Matilda.
Oh,
Okay.
I was
Okay.
thinking we were in the world of
I also
James and-
have
I was
to.
thinking
I
the
have to
witches.
spin the hammer, and I have to. You have to get in the chokey.
I wish you
and-
could have seen her movement. She really embraced that.
did.
She
Yeah.
really
She did.
came into her
Yes,
own.
it's the okay.
I thought you were surfing or something. I wasn't sure.
know.
Whoa.
No, we have to. I was trying to get to the hand. She spins the hammer.
lasso.
That's what she does.
Yes.
Lasso.
All right, we've got to go. Mark, we're going to save you for next time. We'll get ones.
Awesome.
Oh, I feel like this should be like a weekly event
Yeah,
now.
really. Not bad. Huh?
All right. Okay, thank you, Holly.
You're so welcome.
It's been
Thanks
a
for having
pleasure.
me.
Thanks, Molly.
Thank
Holly
you,
and Molly.
Nicole.
And Mark, always for running the board.
Absolutely.
Until next week, we'll see you in the stacks.